What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and what might be coming out and what that could result in. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, this upcoming week is going to be a crazy roller coaster. So there's a lot of kind of points and data points that's coming out that have the ability to really shake up the broader market. So a couple of Fed speakers throughout the week. Tuesday, you have manufacturing data, as well on Wednesday and also Friday, you have consumer linked data. So you have employment and also payroll. Then you have the dreaded unemployment rate that is coming out on Friday. So everyone and their dog is going to really be watching that very, very closely. And then, of course, initial jobless claims. A lot of that is going to really translate to this rate cuts as usual, as per usual. So kind of watch for that. But in reality, I think for the November 7th, there's going to be once again a minimum of 25 basis points. Just what's on the table if 50 is justified or not. But going into this upcoming week, you do have the fear and greed index under the greed category, so 68. And with good data, could really push it to the extreme greed, meaning people's appetite for risk is really going to increase. Monday, it's the last day in Q3, so you are going to have as a byproduct a lot of institutions rebalancing their portfolios. So there might be abnormal amount of transactions, kind of trading SoFi, so just anticipate that. But there's going to be one thing specific to SoFi that will be coming out this week, at least based on historical data, and that is their upcoming earnings. So historically speaking, like I said, Q3, they did announce it on October the 3rd. And so they kind of slated it for October 30th, 2023. Again, we can kind of look back and it's probably going to be around the same time period, but nonetheless, it most likely will be announced this week. So this is where I want to talk on. After they announce their earnings, we do historically see a run up into the SoFi stock price. And then as a byproduct of their earnings, it usually causes a sell-off, regardless of kind of the results. But when SoFi did announce their Q2 earnings on July the 1st, 2024 for July 30th, 2024 again, it did go up within that time period 14%. And the S&P did kind of go down during that time period. So like I said, in a very optimistic market where it's really focused on rate cuts, SoFi does historically go up. So that's one point. When they also did announce their Q1 earnings on April the 2nd for April the 29th, during that time period, it did go up 9.31%. So once again, if SoFi was to announce their earnings this week, it is fair to assume, again, based on historical data, that SoFi might run up around 10%. So generally speaking, pretty good stuff. Once again, it might happen, might not. Again, that's kind of the downfall of looking at historical data. Sometimes the crystal ball isn't always right. But this upcoming earnings, I don't know if this is kind of jinxing it or anything, but this is the most optimistic I've seen analysts. So based on, again, undisclosed, but it is estimated for the 30th, earnings per share is 4 cents and revenue is 626.31 million. Over the last 90 days, there has been 7 positive revisions from analysts, 0 negative. So like I said, not to jinx it or anything, but this is kind of the most optimistic I've seen analysts for earnings. And you know what? Rightfully so, right? They had a lot of rate cuts. That's going to help SoFi's bottom line, help the consumers, win-win for everyone. And so, yeah, honestly, that might be something that really drives SoFi really, really high during that time period. So once again, do your guys' own due diligence. Shorts will be relatively active. So shorts did increase on Friday, 2 million shares, 2.18 million, and that was more so just to suppress it below $8. They kind of went overkill because they probably didn't want to have very blatant manipulation, but still anticipate shorts to be very active this week as well. So 17.76% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 185.76 million shares overall are being shorted. With this week, with it closing below $8, regrettably, all of this, so the $8 and plus, those strike prices did expire worthless. So you have roughly around 8,000 in open interest at that 750, 2,000 at that 7. So you're not really going to see all that much activity as once the market does open on Monday. This upcoming week, though, for October 4th, the expiry date, like, it's somewhat optimistic. There's not a lot of strong walls. So, like I've stated in the past, if SoFi is able to really come out hitting hard, really strong, with a lot of good buying coming from institutions, then it could really run up. The only small one is around that $8 range-ish, but currently 11,000 at that $8 strike price, 9,000 at the $8.50, and then 9,000 at that $9. So once again, this might be a good opportunity for SoFi to really push higher. And as of right now, with support and resistance points, with it closing at $7.95, it is trading between this S1 and the pivot. So 807 will be that next strong resistance / target that you'll want to watch for SoFi to get above, hopefully earlier on in the week. Flip side, 772 is going to be the next strong support. And it was tested, I believe, Wednesday and Thursday. It held up fairly well, so something again to kind of consider. On the actual chart itself, it did recently bounce off of that central boiling band right here, so it's kind of maybe done consolidation, with the recent consolidation from kind of the high 8s-ish to where it did land. Kind of reset the stochastic, so kind of a good thing. As of right now, though, you don't see any defined trend, but it is at 58, so it's not really overbought nor oversold, so it's kind of level ground for that. A number of retail investors have been buying SoFi, so they've been buying the dip essentially. So if that is you, give yourself a shout out. And if SoFi was to announce their earnings, are you guys doing options? So that's one thing that I haven't really seen that much kind of options, call options to encumber their earnings. So once again, historically speaking, if they are assuming it's going to be around October 30th, this is November 1st will encumber that. You don't see all that much. So this is the open interest again, very, very light for that chain. So that might be a good opportunity to really buy some call options. Again, that's if you are optimistic and bullish on SoFi. Volatility is very low on SoFi's chains, so that does equate to very cheap premiums. So again, if you are anticipating SoFi to really hit a home run and go up based on the last couple of things I've shown you, around 10% or possibly even higher, so 14% from the last disclosure, then yeah, you could make some pretty good money. This is just on an FYI. So in my opinion, I feel like a lot of the data coming out this week is going to be relatively neutral, if not positive, and really pushing SoFi higher to around the 850 range, in my opinion. But again, my crystal ball sometimes is wrong, so you guys, no matter what, do your own due diligence at the end of the day. Let me know your price prediction for SoFi for the end of this week. And like I said, what have you guys been doing? Hopefully everyone's having a good weekend thus far. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with all that said, appreciate all of you guys watching.